Ladies and gentlemen, as promised, another edition of the Shooting USA podcast from the Smith & Wesson booth at the NRA's annual meetings 2018, Dallas, Texas. It is my genuine pleasure to welcome my friend Julie Golob to the podcast and the video cast. You can see us and you can hear us.
Both.
Congratulations, ma'am, the newest elected member to the NRA's board of directors. That's got to be a good thing.
It's a great thing.
Yes.
Well, first of all, it's an honor. But it's a very, very exciting time. There were 4 women that were new in, coming into this election, and we all got elected. So it's exciting. And everybody talks about the NRA as being just a guy crowd kind of thing. But we have 30% of the board are women. Wow. And it's great.
How does life change now that you're on the board?
There are a lot more meetings, and a lot of connections. And what's neat is that I'm meeting people that I never would have met before.
Sure.
And certain connections. But I'm still here on the floor, grassroots level, at the batches, talking to people. So I'm hoping to bring that perspective to the board.
And there are a lot of people here. When you speak grassroots, we're talking to the audience. We're talking to the consumers. This is essentially the largest consumer show in the country.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible. The aisles are packed. Everybody's excited. You see people from all walks of life here, and they're energized. Yeah. They're motivated.
Yes. Well, and everybody is like-minded with regard to protecting our Second Amendment rights.
Absolutely.
And in this particular environment, it's more important than ever.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the competition. We're gearing up. Are you going to be shooting Bianchi in 2.5 weeks? Okay, so you've been practicing.
I've been practicing a little bit. I shot a regional match, the Crawfish Cup, down in Louisiana, ate some mud bug, and had a great time. What a phenomenal match that is. Really, really well run. Hats off to George Mowbray for that. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing a lot of a level of clubs like building up and growing action pistol at the grassroots, which is very exciting because for a long time, it's been struggling, but it seems that we're getting big and bad and everything.
Well, it can be a challenging format for a mat or a range to have the installations necessary. It can be a little bit of a difficult thing to do.
It can be.
The good news is there are more and more people doing it, and that means it's growing. Had a moment to spend some time with Doug Koenig yesterday and talk about his preparations and all of the things that are going on. And we started to unpack the 4 different events and what goes into it. I'd love to know your perspective now that the format for the Bianchi Cup has gone away from Championship Saturday and the qualifying week leading up and all of that to the original format, which is 1 or 2 events a day moving forward through the week.
Exactly. I never really participated in the XOF Championship Series because I took those years off. But the thing about Bianchi that's unique about this sport versus a lot of other handgun sports, especially drawing from the holster, is the fact that every single shot counts.
Yeah.
And you can't make it up by being faster. You can't. There's no fudging it. At the end of the day, you either shoot the score or you don't. And that's where Doug has really shined across the years. But it's also one of those, and you shot it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a nerve-wracking experience, but at the same time, if you understand the basic fundamentals of shooting, you're going to do okay.
Right. And it is doable for every shooter at every skill level.
Yeah.
I mean, the chances of a brand new shooter going out there and shooting in the 1900s or a 1920, that's pretty far-fetched.
But that's why we have classifications.
But all of the events are doable. You can get out there and shoot within your skill set, and that's what makes it fun. And that's also what makes it so impressive when you think about what goes into a score in the 1900s.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing. I was down in that Crawfish Cup.
Sure.
The Army guys were there.
Yes, of course.
And they're shooting open this year. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be interesting. Sokolowski shot a 1920 with 179X.
That's incredible.
So it's going to be, especially now since there isn't that championship series.
Yeah.
And everything's going to matter for those 192 shots. Boy, those Army boys are hitting hard.
That 179X with a 1920 means only 13 shots for his match were not in the X ring.
Yeah.
That is astounding. There is one other name that I know that has achieved a 179. That's Doug.
Well, interestingly enough, Michael Gasser, also shooting open,
yes, of course,
shot a 1915. One bad shot,
yeah,
but 180 X's.
Lord.
So
I will be on my toes in Columbia, Missouri in 2.5 weeks. I will have to rest up after this NRA's convention weekend because this is a different kind of tired, but it sounds to me like the open division at the Bianchi is going to be
fierce.
a fierce competition.
Yeah.
You'll be shooting open, of course.
I am.
Yeah.
It's been a while, so
yeah.
I'm like, learning the ropes and getting back into it again and getting that timing down. But it's fun.
Excellent.
It's when you step away from a competition, this is why I love the shooting sports. You can try so many different things. You can be passionate about one, but sometimes when you jump over to a different sport, you're just reinvigorated. And you get so excited about it. You know, you've done this.
It makes it fun.
It does.
Let's talk about something that's fun from the Smith & Wesson brand. They released it yesterday.
Yeah.
They're calling it the LRR, the Long Range Rifle.
This is your place to play.
What an absolute slam dunk home run.
You think so?
I am so excited for them.
I'm glad to hear
It
that.
is one of those things, you know, all of the big companies now have some kind of a bolt gun in some kind of a chassis. And you may look at it at face value and go, all right, well, Smith & Wesson has done a Me Too. And that is not the case here. They have designed in-house their own action, 60-degree bolt throw. And you have to handle this action to really understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This is the kind of action that you find in a custom-built gun for 3 or 4 times the money.
Right.
They built it around a Thompson Center barrel, so it has proven known accuracy.
Yes.
And, I mean, it's just a slam dunk. I obviously have my order in for one in 6.5 Creedmoor. They have 308 available, and they're also doing 243, which is interesting. Still a very competitive caliber. There are some 243 loads that you can easily reach out to 1,000 and beyond with.
Here's the thing I love about it. You know, I don't come from the long-range world,
sure,
and I've always wanted to, but now there's something that price point that's available.
100%.
It's going to come from a quality company that you know is going to stand by their product.
You bet.
And you can get out there, put a great optic on it, and you can go play with the best of them.
Yep.
And what a great way to get into the sport.
It's not very often that I'm surprised by anything these companies that we are partnered with, you know,
right.
But this was a genuine surprise.
Yeah.
There was no lead on this. There was no, hey, there's something big coming, there's something long coming maybe. None of that. It was just, we showed up yesterday morning and there they were.
Yeah.
And I am so excited for them about that. I can't wait.
Not too dissimilar from the 380 Shield.
Exactly, and that is worth talking about also. I had Jan on the podcast earlier today, and we talked all about 380 Easy. But more notable than that, I had spoken with a young lady and her father who were here, and she was trying out one of the Shield 9mm, and she was having some issues. And it wasn't that she couldn't rack the slide, it was that she didn't feel comfortable with the slide release and some of the controls on the Shield 9mm. I said, I've got the answer for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Her first response was, well, I don't know if I want to be shooting a 380.
Right.
And I said, well, all right, let's talk about that before we even go over here.
Exactly.
Once we got through the idea that 380 is inferior, she fell in love with that gun. And it all comes down to a $399 MSRP.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You had some time to shoot it before it was released.
I did.
Yeah.
It's one of those guns that you look at it and you're like, oh, okay.
Right.
You know, like this is, all right, something new, something different, whatever. But when you actually get your hands on it, manipulate it, and then shoot it,
right.
It is... I wish we had cameras on people for every time they had their first shot experience.
The reaction, yeah.
Because it's so soft shooting. It's such a joy to shoot. It's the kind of carry gun that you are going to want to take to the range and shoot a lot.
Exactly.
Unlike many others. So.
Well, and the internal hammer-fired system as opposed to a striker-fired system means that the trigger can be so nice.
Yes.
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 Really the total package. What else is there? What else is going on? The USPSA has put all of their nationals together into 9 days.
They have. Are you going to be there for all of them?
Not all of them. We'll be there for some specific portion, not all of them.
Yes.
But we'll be looking for you there.
Yeah.
You'll be shooting
carry optics is my
with
primary focus. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll be as soon as Bianchi's done, I'm going to put the 1911 away, pick up the Performance Center core, and
get going.
Yeah.
Outstanding stuff.
Yeah.
Good news. Anything I missed? Anything we need to hit?
I think this place is hopping. I think that the traffic is incredible and
it's really good, and the people are starting to line up waiting to meet you and see you because it's almost time for your autograph session here at Smith & Wesson.
Yeah.
Julie Golob is a busy lady.
Oh, it's good. It's good to be busy. Busy is better than bored.
Really good news. Hey, more from the NRA's annual meetings coming up. Stay tuned.